Let's talk quickly about some of Microsoft's tools, Spell Checker and Grammar Checker. Spell Checker will check your spelling for errors. Grammar Checker will check your document for grammatical errors. If you see a red squiggly line underneath the word on your document, this means it's a spelling error. A blue line will signify a grammar error. If you see one of these errors on your document, you can right-click over the word and you can choose to change it to one of Word's suggested spellings. In this case, Mopsy is the name of a character, so I'm going to add it to the dictionary so that it doesn't flag as a misspelling again in this document. Here we have another misspelling. Now I can right-click to change this as well, or if I want to change multiple errors at one time, I can go to the Review ribbon and on the Proofing group, click Spelling and Grammar. In previous versions of Word, the Spelling and Grammar check appeared as a pop-up dialog box. In Word 2013, we see a side menu that has the suggested spellings, and at the bottom portion here where my cursor is, we see a dictionary explaining what each suggested spelling means. I can choose to change, or I can choose to ignore. Add will add it to the dictionary. I'm just going to ignore Flopsy. Once spelling is checked, Grammar Checker will appear. So here we see I have the word the, and Word is going to suggest that I do not capitalize the word the. Down here at the bottom it explains why it's making this suggestion. I can choose to change it, or I can choose to ignore it. Now you can make certain changes to the way your Word will check your spelling and grammar. If I go to the File tab and open up Backstage Office, I can go to Options. This opens up Word Settings. Along the side we'll see Proofing. It's typically the third category down. You can automatically tell Word to ignore words in uppercase. Usually those are acronyms and we don't want to flag those as misspellings. And you can make other changes, including to mark grammar errors as you type, where the blue lines will appear, or if you don't want to be bogged down by blue lines, you can uncheck that and then run the grammar check at the end of your writing to look for grammar errors. You can also choose to hide spelling errors in the document that you're currently working in, so if you don't want to see the red lines, you can hide that as well. I'm just going to click Cancel, and that is the spelling and grammar check for Word 2013. The next tool that we're going to talk about is the Copy, Cut, Paste tools. Copy, cut, and paste can be used in not just the Office products but online and other software programs as well. When you copy an object, you're making a duplicate of it. When you cut an object, you're removing it from that location, but you can paste it in another location, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then what pasting is you are actually putting that object that you copied or cut into a new location. Now we're going to go to our home ribbon up here at top, and here's the Clipboard group, Paste, Copy, Cut, and Clipboard. With Word, if you open up your clipboard by clicking on that drop down box, you can see objects that you have recently copied or cut. I'm going to move my cursor over to the sentence, and I'm going to highlight the sentence, and I'm going to choose Copy. When I click Copy, Word duplicated that sentence and it appeared on my clipboard. Now, if you weren't looking at your clipboard, if you had this hidden, the object is still copied, you're just not looking at the clipboard. I can go back to my document and I can select a new location, and I can click the Paste command. When I paste an object, such as text or a picture, I get this little pop-up called Paste Options. I can click on this to decide how my object will paste. If I choose to keep text only, it will strip it of any formatting. So if I copied an object that had bold and it was the color red, and I didn't want it to be bold, I can strip it of its formatting by telling it just to keep the text only. And the other option is keep source formatting. So if I copied an object that was bold, red, it would keep that same style wherever I pasted it. In this case, because I copied a simple sentence, there was no formatting other than the size 14. This next sentence has that same formatting, including size 14. When you cut an object, you're temporarily removing it from that current location to place it to a new location. So I'm going to highlight this sentence, and I'm going to choose Cut. Notice that it disappears from this line, but it still shows up on my clipboard. So when I go into my document, I can choose to paste it in the new location. That's copy, cut, and paste.